So,
We're recording, so now I'm gonna throw up on camera. So
hold on. Sorry. We'll do that. We got. Hi, I'm that cool cuts Kara that you found at the Goodwill with her hair all chopped off, Joey.
and I'm the middle-aged Midwestern Bretman Rock wannabe, Remy. And this is DollHeads.
DollHeads.
They're obsessed with indie doll art. One's a noob, the other's real smart. They're gonna spill the tea for you. I didn't know that. So many dolls to see. Collect them all if possible. There's always room for one more. My credit card's maxed out. You're with the DollHeads, yes, DollHeads. Making doll dreams come true for me and you.
And post.
Today we're going to be interviewing Jean-Philippe, and we're going to be talking about his beautiful Chu Chu dolls and his new doll, Aliocha. I happen to have Chu Chu right here.
Chu Chu!
Chu Chu!
Montreal-based Canadian artist Jeanphilippe Primeau is a visionary with a vintage soul, creating psychedelic, groovy dolls in fashion that captivate the doll world's imagination. With an undeniable point of view and fearless experimentation, Jean-Philippe blends sculpture, fashion, and art to create truly magical work.
Welcome, Jean-Philippe. We're so excited to have you here and to get to delve into your world of artistry and your beautiful, beautiful dolls. We're going to be talking about your past art like Chu Chu. We're going to be talking about your future, what you're doing with Aliocha, your new doll, and what to expect in the future. So we're excited to have you here. Welcome.
And thank you for the invitation, just to know, like you said, know better about my work and know more my dolls and what I create, and I'm very grateful.
The world needs to know. We need to know.
I love your shirt. That floral print makes me so happy.
Thank you. I stained it this morning by accident.
Oh, that makes
sense. Very sad.
It's perfect. I love it. It's perfect for Aliocha.
Yes, too. That's why I choose this one, because I felt it was on the same theme.
Yes, exactly. I love it. I mean, how could somebody not be obsessed with these dolls? They are just everything. I'm so excited. Let's start off with what dolls inspired you and play a big role in what you're doing now.
I really love vintage Blythe and vintage Barbie dolls, so I think we can see a bit of these dolls into my own creations, and I just love the eras, like the 60s, the 70s, and the music, all the fashion, all the iconography of it too. So my dolls are very much like a bit like a mix and match of all of this.
A beautiful quilt that you put together of all these pieces. It's beautiful. I love the eras. I love your inspiration. I see all of that in them. I see the inspiration from Blythe. I mean, I have been, making dolls for a really long time, and I see a lot of, different artists and different people doing things. And when I saw your Chu Chu dolls for the first time, I was just like, wow, this is an artist that really has a vision and really is seeing it through. And you just have such amazing talent and such an eye for it. It was like, I was completely like, oh, I love this. I need one. I have to have one in my life. And so now I have 5, and I'm a Chu Chu hoarder. I have 5 Chu Chu dolls.
But yes, thank you. I'm very happy that you see that you saw a bit of my own world into Chu Chu. And for me, even though that I am inspired by the 60s and 70s, I still try always to put my own flair into it. Like, I don't know, a bit like some visions in my head that I just push out when I create a doll. So it's a bit a mix of those inspirations from the past, but also a bit of my own imagination too.
And I love it. And your artistry, as far as like your illustrations and your paintings that I've seen, I mean, it all, anything I see, I can say that's Jean-Philippe. Like, you know, your style is 100% your own. Even taking these inspirations, it's very obvious that this is your brainchild. It's really astounding. I mean, you really definitely were born to be doing this.
Yes, it started with the painting, like you said. Even though that it's not the same world as dolls, I started with paintings around maybe 2009. I don't know why. I was just thinking like, if many people can do it, I can do it too. So I ended up buying some canvas and acrylic paint, because at that time it was acrylic paint that I was using, and I decided to just create paintings and see where it will lead me. And over time, I ended up trying many different kind of styles, even though that they are still the same universe. But I tried to a bit experiment with what I had, and I don't know how it ended up being transformed into dolls on the end. But yes.
Did you grow up with dolls, or was there a favorite doll that you had growing up? Like, how did the fascination with dolls start for you?
The funny thing is, I didn't own any dolls when I was a kid. I only had the little McDonald's dolls from the 90s. They were my dolls because I was too shy to go buy one or to ask for one to my parents. And in the 90s, I don't know for everybody else, but for me, it was like owning a doll. It was maybe seen like being gay, or I don't know. I think it was very negative at that time. And as a kid, I was a bit scared of that part of me.
I think we all experienced the same that you did with that kind of stigma that's put upon it, where we're just a child and we see these things and we love them, but we also see how society reacts around gender roles and being a male, and you know, there's certain things we're supposed to be playing with, like trucks and army soldiers and whatnot. Luckily, we have evolved so much since then, and so a lot of children now are actually being able to express themselves and to enjoy the things that they have. But I also think that maybe part of the fact that we couldn't have them or felt afraid to ask for them or have them also kind of compelled us into what we're doing now.
I remember when I was young, I was in Toys R Us, and I was with my mom. I don't know why we were there, but I remember seeing a Barbie doll, and I was like, oh my God, I want her. So I remember asking my mom, and at the end I was too shy to go at the cash with it. So I was like, oh no, it's not for me. But I ended up buying her like a few years ago. It's not very like a vintage Barbie, but I think she was named, I think, Color Splash.
Yeah, that's so cool. I think her bathing suit changed color in the water or something.
Yeah, yes, or the little braid.
The braid, yeah. I'm so happy that you have her to show. That's so wonderful.
Like, it's a bit random, but I remember like I bought her during COVID, and I was like, oh, I just want to buy this doll because I have this memory of Toys R Us, and yes, now she is in my collection.
I think that's so awesome. I think that we need to have that we have to take care of that inner child, you know? I think that's so important for all of us. How did you get started in the craft? Like, what on your journey in painting and stuff kind of drove you to doing doll art?
Actually, the doll part started randomly one day after work. I was just walking back home, and I don't know why I decided to go at the Toys R Us because it was like very near my home, and I ended up in the doll section, and I remember seeing a vintage reproduction of a swirl ponytail.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh, that's like a vintage Barbie. And I just liked the fact that she was vintage. Like, I didn't know about them really. And I bought her. And that night, I remember going on Google and searching like vintage reproduction and vintage Barbie, and just to see how they look like. Because in my head, she was like a real vintage Barbie. And I ended up buying some reproduction dolls, like the 35 anniversary or something like this from the 90s. And slowly it led me on Facebook to go on like vintage groups, vintage Barbie groups, and I built my own collection. And I learned English at the same time too.
Oh, that's so cool. That's really fascinating, like how that kind of coincided with you learning English as well.
Yes, I feel it's very weird because if that day I would have not go there, maybe it will have never happened. And presently I will not talk English at all. Yes, with my vintage Barbie collection, I ended up doing clothes and stuff like this, and slowly it shifted from the paint to the Barbie with the clothes, the hair, knowing like how to do a ponytail on a vintage doll and stuff like this.
Well, all of that work paid off because with your design, with your sewing skills, with the using like vintage fabrics that you do and putting everything together, I mean, you really come up with some really fantastic masterpieces. And that all started from you know, putting in the work of learning how to do it and doing design and sewing for small, tiny people, you know?
Yes, and at that time too, when I went to buy the swirl ponytail, I was doing a fashion class, and that's how I learned to sew and doing my own patterns and everything. So it just coincided that all at the same time I ended up starting to do clothes for dolls and learning how to do it too. And the same thing for humans clothes too, because at that time it was the goal to be able to do something for humans. But now I'm still happy that I sew for dolls, and eventually are smaller, and it's practically the same thing.
Kind of typical day look like whenever you're creating? Can you kind of like walk us through what your average day would be?
It depends, because sometimes someday I will feel more like using my sewing machine, and other days it will be more sanding, and other days something else. So usually I don't have a plan, but depending on how I feel, I will do some specific task. And yes, it's always different every day. I think that's something also beautiful about that, is that the fact that it's always different, and it allowed me also to a bit to be like my own boss, and like giving my own giving some task to do every day.
I mean, I feel like doll artistry is so multidisciplinary because you are, you know, creating in all of these different mediums, you know, sewing 2D things to make it 3D, and then painting 2D onto 3D. I mean, it's a really fascinating kind of blend of a lot of different competencies that you need. And so I love that you kind of wake up and go, which of the muses is calling me today, and then you kind of like go down that path. That's really cool.
Yes, and I also feel what is important too is to be aware that someday, maybe, let's say like someday sewing doesn't work, and someday something else doesn't work. Because with the painting, that's something I've learned is when you want to paint, sometimes we have this tendency to force ourselves into it, even though that day that doesn't work, we are not feeling it. And I feel that's something important to be aware when I create something is to always follow like my heart and always follow how I feel on the moment to create something that is more linked with how I feel inside.
I really like what Remy said, talking about how it really takes all these different skills. It's like with what you do, you sculpt, you paint, you sew. I mean, everything is done by hand, and you have to have all these different skill sets to bring it together to make this one vision. It's not just like, oh, I'm an artist and I paint. It's so much more than that. There's so much more that's involved in creating and making your own doll. What impact would you like to make on the world with your art, like your doll art?
I'm pretty humble, I think, in the sense that I don't want necessarily like to be like Ruth Handler or to be famous. Or for me, the more important is just to shine in a way, to let my work shine and inspire other people to create. And also I just want to give them the feeling, when you have a new doll and you open the box and everything is new and you look at all the details. And I feel that's something that I just want to give to people because that's what I enjoy the most, I think, when I let's say I have a new doll with a box and all the ceremony of it in a way.
And it's really is a ceremony. I mean, when you see all the work that goes into this and all the work that you put into your beautiful boxes and the art, I mean, even I don't know how the mirror is going to do with camera, but I mean, just so stunning and so beautiful.
What is interesting about that one is she was from a series of 8 dolls, and each dolls had like a theme of blue and pink and gold. And yes, it was just like 8 special dolls. So they have their own special boxes. There's only 8 of them. And there was a lot of hand sewing too, from what I remember. And yes, like adding sequins and beads and little details like that.
It was a beautiful, beautiful deluxe collection, and I'm really honored to be able to own one of them. And I mean, the time that you put into it, even just this like 8 doll collection, I mean, they have their own booklet that is special to them with beautiful, we probably can do better to show audience, but I mean, just absolutely beautiful how much work went into this with the photography and the compilation. It's just really exciting and wonderful and special. And I love that. I love small collections like that because it really does. That's kind of the point of indie dolls too, is like, these are limited small edition dolls that are very special,
What is interesting about this booklet is I'm a bit crazy, but all the pictures are made with a vintage camera, with a film.
They're film captures?
Yes, exactly. And I did it in my place inside during winter. And on some pictures, it's possible to notice that there's like a smoke effect. And I did all of it like inside during winter. And at the end, when I finished the film, I realized that the film didn't work. so I had to redo the whole thing with the smoke and everything. And I remember I was so over it. I was like, no.
I think that that's the struggle of artistry as well, though, is what people don't usually see is the repetition and the kind of mastery that it takes to achieve that perfect brushstroke and that absolutely like impeccable hem. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
all of the kind of effort and practice and discipline it takes to make something look so effortless.
Yeah.
Yes, it takes a lot of work and also a lot of self-taught to learn new skills and to have the confidence to believe in it, because that's something at first when I started creating dolls, I wasn't believing in it. I was just like thinking about all the mountains to reach that goal, and I ended up doing nothing. And eventually it took me a few years, and during COVID actually, to think about my own future and thinking like, okay, what if I die tomorrow? What will I leave to the world? So I ended up thinking, okay, I have nothing to lose, so I will start creating dolls, and I will just see how it goes, and if there's many steps to obtain that goal, that's okay too, and it's part of the journey. We don't know when we look at my dolls, but there was many times where things wasn't going well, and it, even though that it wasn't something fun necessarily, I think it was important to go sometimes on that path and to learn from it. Like one of the first prototype I did of Chu Chu, I ended up burning the head in the oven, and I remember I was very heartbroken. I felt like it was a failure, and finally I was like, okay, I have to accept the reality and move on, because otherwise it will never go on.
I just want to show people too. I mean, here's a little resin lava lamp that came with one of the Chu Chu dolls. Jean-Philippe makes these amazing and exquisite little accessories that really make the dolls so much more special. This little hand mirror, and all hand painted, just so beautiful, so full of detail. And each collection and each doll comes with different things and accessories, and like this is little purse that came with one of them. And I mean, it's just amazing to see all the exquisite detail that goes into these. And it's not just the doll in a fashion, it's all these little pieces and accessories that took work, and design, and it's really makes them even more special.
Yes, thank you. And for my next doll, I wanted to do little glasses. Maybe you saw them on Instagram. But I have some example here.
Oh, that's so fantastic! I love those.
Like this one is yellow, and I have some that are shaped like butterflies.
Oh my goodness!
Oh wow, with hinges and everything.
Yes, I wanted them to be like real glasses.
Yeah.
So it's possible to open them and close them.
Oh, those are so beautiful.
I
Oh
really love this
wow.
Oh wow, yeah, so good.
Those are so good. Oh, I'm so excited. So tell us a little more about I'd love to hear more about Aliocha, and what we're expecting with this new release, but also your transition from Chu Chu to Aliocha.
For me, they are pretty close. It's not the same doll, but they are both inspired by the same thing. Yes, the same like 60s and 70s eras, and And also with Alyosha, I wanted to give myself some challenges. So that's why I ended up, let's say for the glasses, trying to do the little hinges with the arms, and for example, trying to do little shoes with fabric. Presently, they are not the best, but I'm still very happy that that's something that I decided to do, to just experiment and see what I can do and what I can't do, and see what I prefer, if I prefer to do them with fabric, or if I prefer to do them with resin or something else.
And that's what I was gonna just say. It started out where she was a cloth-bodied doll with sculpted
Yes.
elements like the head and the hands and the feet. And now she's kind of through the evolution of you making her and designing her, she's kind of become a ball-jointed doll, if I'm correct, you know?
Yes, she started with the soft body. I have some example.
Oh,
If
I
you
want to
want to
see.
It's not very like pretty.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, for example, here it was for the arms, so they can move. It was just to test some patterns to see if my ideas was all right or not. You can see like the little arms. I have one for the legs. They can move.
So cool. See.
And I tried this one because I wanted to do a little butt.
Cute.
And here that's an arm, but there's none here, but that's okay.
Do you have an prototype Aliocha or something that you're working on there with you?
Yes, I have the first one that I want to sell. She is done except for the hair.
Oh, look at her. Oh, she's so beautiful. I love your color story with the green and the lavender, and then with her red hair and her brown eyes. She's so beautiful.
And this
Oh.
one, like you said, is like a ball jointed doll. So
Yeah.
it's possible to like bend her knee, and she's also like spinning and turning like a vintage Barbie.
Twist and turn, yes.
And the head is moving.
Oh, she's so beautiful. I really hope that I get to be one of the lucky people to have a Aliocha. She's just beautiful.
And
Oh my
that's her shoes with fabric and resin too for the soles.
Oh, that's so awesome. Ah, I feel so honored that you're sharing with us.
And here is just a wig cap, but
Oh my
Look at that beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. I'm so excited. You make me excited. Your work and your vision just like it excites the little kid in me, and I'm like, I wanna hold, I wanna play, I wanna explore. They're just beautiful.
thank you. And something also I wanted to experiment with this new character is to use more vintage fabric, and trying to do more things by hand. Like for example, the shoes, I try to do them by hands. Same for the wigs. So I don't use like a sewing machine. It's just little challenges that I give myself, just to experiment and see what is possible to do. I don't know if we have a bit of time. I will have shown my the box of Alyosha.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. We're so here for that.
Because it took me like 2 months to draw everything, so now I'm like, I will show it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yes, it was
Oh,
so
wow.
long to do. I decided to do like all the drawings that we see on it, and on the inside too.
Oh.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You know, that's more impressive than even the like vintage Barbie case playsets and stuff. I mean, it's just,
Oh, wow.
my gosh, wow.
So
And
the
people
doll
love-
becomes its own display. It really is stunning.
But yes, I wanted people to open it and be like, oh, but that's a dollhouse, and use it a bit like a dollhouse for pictures or just for display.
dioramas. Yeah.
I love
that's
the
beautiful.
way your mind works too, to like have to engineer that, you know, like, and then be like, it's gonna fold out, it's gonna have this partition, it's gonna have a window, it's gonna have a mirror. That's so cool.
Yes, and the funny thing is there's many details that I ended up not doing because at some point it was a bit endless. I was like, oh, maybe I can add a little pole for hanging clothes, and like, and I was even thinking like maybe I could do a little chair, and like it wasn't ending. Like,
Like, what about this too? And another thing.
yes. Sometimes I have to stop myself because otherwise I will just work on that like endlessly.
Yeah. You seem like the type of person that enjoys a good challenge. You're like, how do I make this work? You're a problem solver.
Yes, and I think that it's shown with all my little ideas of like classes and everything. But yes, I love to just trying to do different each time.
Where can people find you online? How can we find and support you?
It's possible to find me on Instagram mainly. It's BestiaireDoll. That's my ID, and it's also possible to visit my website. It's the same name. It's bestairedoll.com, and I open also TikTok just for testing and see if people are interested in my things. Yes, I hope they will enjoy what I want to give them.
Absolutely. You're definitely a mastermind in this art, and I'm so excited to see the future and what you're going to bring to the table and what you're going to offer. I just it's really exciting for me to see and watch you.
Thank you for the invitation and to believe in me and to encourage me too, and yes, trying to help me also to reach more people and show them what I do. I'm very grateful for that, and yes, so grateful for all of it.
Well, we love you. We're in love with your art, with your dolls, and I know that everyone that gets to stumble across the show are going to be like, what? Why have I not seen this? And it's like, well, that's what the show is exactly for, to help show people what else is out there.
And I feel that's important sometimes to step back a bit and trying to see something else, because yes, there's dolls in store, but that doesn't mean that there's only that. There's other dolls in the world, and I feel that's important to sometimes trying to step back and trying to see and look at things that maybe some people usually don't do.
Well, thank you again from the bottom of my doll heart. I'm such a supporter of you and a cheerleader for you. I just I think the world of your art, and we're excited to continue to explore that. And that's it for this episode of DollHeads. Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this sophisticated programming, like and subscribe for more.
Perfect.
Yay. Oh, that was
Yay.